Yo, welcome back, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and other podcast sites and app. We are back again with episode 2 of tonight's Sports Talk with KC. Before we get started, please, as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Titletown TV. Matter of fact, push that notification button as well, so you will be notified when I drop content, when Lamar drop content, when Titletown TV in general drops content. Just please click that bell on Titletown TV YouTube channel. Uh, we'll be back here each and every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Um, yeah, man, let's get into a quick local sports news. Alabama Steel lost this past weekend, 8-19 to Fairhope Storm. Judging by the score, it was a pretty solid game. Um, Probably a nice, strong defensive battle. Um, 19-8, very low scoring game. Hate to see the Steel lose. Like that. Only a 11-point loss. I know that team was definitely hungry for a victory. They're 2-1. Start off season hot, 2-0. They have, make sure I'm right. They have uh, their way at the Alabama Chargers, Birmingham Chargers. They beat them early in the season. First game of the season to be exact. Um, what score that game? 19-12, if I'm not mistaken. Early this season, so they should uh, go up into Birmingham and handle business. But yeah, man, that's enough about the Alabama Steel. Uh, Hate to see them lose it. Like I mentioned before, I hate to see them lose the game. Um, like I said they will bounce back next week. Trust me, against Birmingham Chargers. Which is, they have a rowdy crowd, so it should be a good one. Um, but yeah, man, I know what y'all came in for. Free agency, yes, is upon us. It's been a lot of great big deals today, yesterday, Monday, this weekend. Been a lot of things going on, man. But the biggest deal of free agency, in my eyes, I know Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson were big deals, but this is a huge deal for me as a fan. Uh, Bill signed two-time Super Bowl champion Von Miller to a 6-year, 120 million dollar deal to go to Buffalo and help them win the championship. Oh, it's a big deal for me because I'm a Von Miller fan. I watched him win the Super Bowl with my all-time favorite quarterback, Peyton Manning. Um, Peyton Manning a few years ago in Denver, and then this past season, this past season, of course, he won Super Bowl with the LA Rams after being traded, along with him and OBJ, bringing a championship to LA, and so now he's taking talents to Buffalo, who already was loaded on their defense already. And I don't think they're done, man. There's been a lot of news about them possibly trading for uh, Fletcher Cox. So we'll see how that goes. Comparing him and Ed Oliver, but like I mentioned before, Ed Oliver, Von Miller. Now in the defense, you have Tre'Davious White at cornerback. You have Edmonds at linebacker. Yeah, man. The Bills are trying to make some noise, man. The defense kind of let them down. We saw what they did with 13 seconds against Pat Mahomes. So, man, shortening up their defense will definitely help them get over the top, especially against a team like the Chiefs, who Von Miller's very, very acquainted with it from his years in Denver, AFC rival. Another Bills move. We got them picking up former Bama tight end and Buccaneers tight end OJ Howard, former uh, former top pick in 2017 draft, if I'm not mistaken. A few years ago, lost a lot of play time due to injury and Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady's best friend, number one weapon from back his days in New England. So yeah, seeing him sign with the Bills, who a team who actually needed a tight end. I know they had Dustin Knox, who was very serviceable last season. Not saying he sucks, trash, not gonna diss the man. Pretty solid tight end, great blocker, but receiving tight end like OJ Howard to go along with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen could definitely prepare the offense. Not sure what they're gonna do with Emmanuel Sanders or what he's gonna do career wise, whether he's retiring or not, but getting a guy like OJ Howard definitely helps the offense moving forward. Um, the Raiders they signed former Arizona Cardinals edge rusher Chandler Jones away from the Cardinals. Um, it's been a lot of turmoil from what I've heard out of out there in Arizona. The Kyle Murray mess with the team. Chandler Jones not being happy with his contract. Obviously, not being happy about not being re-signed before the season was over with, things like that. Obviously, that was probably a major part in him going to Oakland. Sorry, Las Vegas. It's still kind of weird saying Las Vegas Raiders. But yeah, having him with the Raiders, improving that pass rush. Um, they also traded away a pass rusher. Y'all can read his name. It's probably the hardest name in the field to say. Yannick An- Anako. Not sure how to say his name. Traded him to the Colts to pair him with Quiddy Pay, last year first rounder by the Colts. Um, After the Chandler Jones pickup, um, you pair him with you compare Chandler Jones with Crosby, as well as former top five pick Colin Farrell. You have a nice edge rotation there in Las Vegas, not Oakland. And now they can spend that first round pick on maybe a receiver, a tackle to go along with Colton Miller. Things haven't worked out exactly with Alex Leatherwood, um, so to speak. So yeah, man, big move by the Raiders. Now on to the Ravens. They brought back Zadarius Smith to that Ravens defense. Who also signed Marcus Williams. So man, that Ravens defense trying to get back to back to glory days of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs. Man, they got some pieces at corner with Marcus Peters. That's his name. Another Marcus Peters, as well as Marlon Humphreys, and they have Marcus Williams in the secondary. Also, uh, Jadarius Smith, uh, Afe Afe Okoye, I think that's his name now. Also formerly known as Jason Owe, who they drafted last season out of Penn State. Um, Still got Calais Campbell on the defensive line. So man, yeah, man, things are looking up for that Ravens defense. Um, that's not the only move they made. Defensively they also made a move offensively. They stole Morgan Moses from the Jets. Um, so man, it looks like the Jets will probably be drafting either Evan Neal, Akeem Agwanu, or Charles Cross with that fourth overall pick to replace Morgan Moses to go along with Makai Becton. The Ravens definitely needed that Morgan Moses on the offensive line to protect uh, Lamar Jackson, who missed some time due to injury. So keeping them upright, keeping them healthy, will definitely propel the the Ravens to the back into the playoffs and hopefully make a deep run. They already have Rodney Staley, so they have two bookend tackles now to um, protect Lamar Jackson. Okay, what else do we have here? The Browns. The Browns traded former Bama linebacker Mac Wilson for Patriots edge rusher Chase uh, Winovich. Um, this is a solid move for both teams. I give both about a B minus on this deal. Not the biggest names they could have traded for on each team. As a plus for both organizations, but they both feel holes for both organizations. Mac Wilson is a linebacker that definitely knows that Patriot defense playing at Alabama. Uh, Similar schemes. Bill Belichick love Bama players. A guy who could eventually take over for Dante Hightower while he's getting older. And then as for the Browns, um, they probably don't want to spend the big money to bring back Jadeveon Clowney. So they trade for a cheaper Chase Winovich. Um, so um, so they'll definitely feel a hole on their defense next to Miles Garrett. Speaking of the Browns, they're moving on from Baker Mayfield, whether it's through trade or cutting him. There's a few teams out here who still need quarterbacks who probably don't want to exactly invest in one of the draft quarterbacks because this is one of the I wouldn't say the worst quarterbacks draft, but it's not as what we used to. Like last season, you had Trevor Lawrence at one, but then you have two, three guys fighting for the number two spot. Um, with Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance. You can even throw in Mac Jones who fell to 15. It was a lot of discussion about him going to three to the 49ers. But yeah, man, that draft class isn't that. It isn't five guys who could go top five. You know what I'm saying? Type of stuff. So of course, you have Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, Sam Howell, Desmond Ritter, those five guys. But they're probably maybe outside of Malik Willis, they're probably better off being drafted in second. Which I have four out of the five guys being drafted in the first round only because of need, and a lot of the teams where they're drafting it might not get a chance to them at second if they have a second. So for Baker, um, there's teams like Indianapolis Colts who just traded Carson Wentz, who hasn't replaced him just yet. There's a lot of talks of Jimmy Garoppolo coming there. You also have what's another team that could possibly use him. Seattle. They just traded Russell Wilson to Denver, which we'll talk about here soon. Um, let's see who else. Yes, let's see. Indianapolis, sorry. Seattle. Who else? Pittsburgh. Which I don't see them um, in the market for Baker. They play him twice a year. They see what he can do and what he can't do. But they with Mitch Trubisky signing with them, I think it's more of a bridge thing for another quarterback. So there was a possibility before Pittsburgh signed him. Um, Houston was interesting. Could start over Davis Mills and give them the um, edge they need to kind of be better. But then again, why not continue to be bad and build around Davis Mills? Because Deshaun Watson is going to bring three first round picks. There's no reason to continue to try to. Of course, you're building for the future when you want to be good, and you have pieces like Brandon Cooks and Larry Tunsil, which he's probably going to get traded, but he's still a Pro Bowl tackle they could build upon, and with Baker and Cooks, they could possibly be a playoff fringe team, whatever like that. Like I mentioned before, trading for Deshaun Watson going to bring him a first round pick this year, so maybe get one of the top tackles if you are going to trade Tunsil, and then whether it's Carolina at six, Seattle at nine, trading for Deshaun Watson, you got a top 10 pick. You can probably get a receiver to replace or go with Brandon Cooks, and maybe bring in a Baker Mayfield. You know what I'm saying? That's making your team better already. You could have Tunsil and Evan Neal, Tunsil and Iguana, Tunsil and or and Charles Cross for Mississippi State. So the possibilities are endless for the Texans where they are. So and then for the Browns, like I mentioned before, a draft quarterback there, Jimmy Garoppolo. He might want to play with Amari Cooper. You know, got David Ojabo. He just cut Austin Hooper to make the room for David Ojabo, who's we know he's a receiving tight end. And then the other guy, he's better of a blocker, but Harrison Bryant, nice tight end piece, one of the best O lines in the whole league. Defense is wasn't as good as we thought, but will be much improved next season. Um, Speaking of the Broncos, they traded for Russell Wilson and also stole away Randy Gregory from the Broncos. I mean, from the Cowboys for 70 million. But yeah, man, that Russell Wilson trade was has been one of the biggest trades ever. Uh, a team like the Broncos, who probably was just a quarterback away, has receiving talent all over the place, and Tim Patrick, Jerry Judy, obviously, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, guys like that. They did have to send away Noah Fant, but they do have Albert. He has a tough name as well. He's played from Missouri. If you guys know what I'm talking about, he's a solid tight end. I think he had like 40 catches this past season, which is okay for actually pretty good for a backup tight end. I think he had 40 catches this past season, which is really good for a tight end, backup tight end. Um, yeah, man, the AFC is looking great, man. Um, it just seems like everyone wants to play the ACC, the AFC. Like I mentioned before, Steelers signed Mr. Trubisky. Probably more of a brisk quarterback. Don't want to get into this year's draft class, but next year's draft class was C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, and guys like that who came back next season. Who's coming back next season for the college, colleges they play for. Um, Spencer Rattler, forgot about him. Guys like that. They also signed Miles Jack. Finally, they got a replacement for my boy. Oh man, Ryan Shazier. That's his name. Can't remember his name for nothing. Another Steelers deal. Former Bama quarterback. Walk on. So another expiring story. Uh, Former Bama walk on Levi Wallace gets 8 million from the Steelers after playing in Buffalo, being the number two corner for um, Tre'Davious White. He could possibly be the number one corner here with Joe Hayden getting older. So you know, what I'm saying him getting 2 year 8 million. So the team might be a little different in 2 years. He might be that guy for them. You got any more AFC news? The Chiefs, they signed Texas safety uh, Justin Reed um, to replace Tyron Matthew, aka the Honey Badger, for the Texans. Like I had in my mock draft last week's mock draft, I have them picking the Texans picking at 3 and 6 as well. So there's plenty of opportunity to grab Notre Dame safety, um, Notre Dame safety, um, Cal Hamilton. So yeah, to replace Justin Reed now. Wasn't sure at the moment last week, but I knew he was a free agent. So, and then for Tyron Matthew, he gets to go chase Green Panthers. Would like to see him back in New Orleans, but they're not the greatest team. He's an older guy, so I'm sure he's looking for a winning program. Maybe a team like who's good and need a safety. Um, Baltimore will be a great fit for Tyron Matthew. Um, they need a coverage guy. Marcus Williams more of the in the box type of guy. Um, let's see, San Diego, not San Diego, the Chargers. They have Dorian James. They could put Matthews at the other corner, at the other safety if you want to take a pay cut. Um, that's only if you want to take a pay cut. But yeah, man, that was the AFC side of things. Major deals for them. Drop me a shot or anything. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, man. The AFC are looking really strong early in the AFC. Are there any teams in the NFC that can compete? I think there are a few, very few. Of course, we have Green Bay, who was number one overall seed last year's playoffs. The Bucks, that Tom Brady's back now, so is back with the Bucks. I'm retired, so the Bucks should stay relevant. They should stay where they are. Hopefully, getting better. They did sign Russell Gage to replace Antonio Brown, as well as add depth to the receiver room. Of course, they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who they re-signed as well. I think he's on a franchise tag, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Tyler Johnson, Gronk seems like he's coming back. That's not set in stone just yet. Tyler Johnson. Who else? What's that boy name? Miller. Scotty Miller. Yeah, a receiver. So yeah, man, you got plenty of weapons for uh, Tom Brady and company. Hopefully, they can get him a back, whether it's in the draft or in free agency. Um, Another NFC team, like I mentioned before, Aaron Rodgers is back on a possible $200 million deal, 150 officially, with $50 million in the last year, the fourth year of the deal. Like I mentioned before, Williams leaves um, New Orleans for the Ravens. They replace him with another Marcus May, who we all knew was probably leaving New York after being drafted by them. But yeah, man, Marcus May, another one of those in the box safety who can also play on coverage. Um, this is a great pickup for the Saints, replacing Marcus Williams, a guy who's a little bit cheaper, um, similar in age, so you're not missing that value. But yeah, Marcus May, um, for the Jets, they're a top five team, so they could definitely be in the market for uh, Kyle Hamilton to replace him. Um, Sticking with the NFC contenders, the 49ers, they signed Chiefs corner uh, hmm, Charvarius Ward, cornerback from the Chiefs. Isn't the biggest name in the cornerback community, but is a solid starting cornerback in the NFL. Uh, Definitely helped the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl the last couple of years. So solid pickup by them. Uh, uh, the Cow the Cowboys, they traded Amari Cooper for a fifth and a sixth round pick to the Browns. Um, I think they could have got so much more for Amari Cooper, especially looking at what they spent to get him. They spent the first round pick. They could at least got a third for him. Guy who uh, played great for them. Was a little bit consistent this season. I think CeeDee Lamb kind of propelled himself to the number one receiver option for Dak and the rest of the Cowboys. So that might have been the reason for this move. They gave Michael Gallup all that money as well to be the number two. So yeah, I would have taken Coop even for just off of name value alone, but I did see that My Gallup is a little younger, but he's a different type of player. He could get, get molded into that Cooper role, but he's a um, very much a slot guy. But that also translates to the route running, which Coop is one of the best, one if not the best great route runners in the NFL. So we'll see how that goes for Gallup and the Cowboys. Um, um, the Cardinals they bring back James Conner, but they did lose um, Chase Edmonds to the Dolphins. Dolphins needed a nice running back, but getting Connor back, who was a touchdown, a rushing touchdown leader this past season, back as number one back, will do great things for his career. The Washington Commanders, yes, I said the Commanders, not the Redskins or the football team. The Commanders, they traded for former Eagle quarterback who's back in the division, and Eagles coach quarterback Carson Wentz to be their starter. This is a move more for Ron Rivera, a guy who can play right now. If they would draft, there's still a chance they could draft one of those quarterbacks. They want me a rookie quarterback, but they want me so pressure to play him. They have a guy like Carson Wentz already there to play in front of them. Like I mentioned before, it's more of a Ron Rivera deal. Who could possibly be fired? Could possibly be on the hot seat. I'm not um, snotting them who make the call for them. So that's the one the thing for the Commanders. Julio Jones getting cut by is possibly getting cut by the Titans, if not already cut by now. Wherever he land next, the Falcons could be back in Atlanta. They lost Russell Gage to the Buccaneers, and also lost Calvin Ridley to suspension. He would not be available for them this year because of his betting scandal. Um, let's see who could possibly use uh, Julio Jones' service. The Browns, the team who should have drafted him uh, instead of trading out a few years ago in 2009. No, I'm wrong. 2011 to be exact. Um, yeah, seven-time Pro Bowler, still has a lot in the tank. So to see him being cut by the Titans as a Bama fan, as a fan of football in general, it's it's crazy to see him not being on a team at the moment. Uh, like I mentioned, the Falcons, the Browns. Let's give you one more team. The Colts could do Colts pick up Julio Jones and possibly trade for Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo. Playoff team. They missed it last year. They missed a real good season by Jonathan Taylor. So yeah, man, Julio Jones to the Colts will be a great fit. Um, speaking of the Colts, they division rival, the Jaguars, went on a bit of a spending spree. They gave Christian Kirk, receiver from Arizona, $84 million, man. A lot of people say he didn't deserve it. Um, say he didn't deserve it, but we never seen him in the number one role. Um, of course, before they had DeAndre Hopkins, they had Larry Fitzgerald. Last season, AJ Green caught on for them a lot. In Hopkins' absence, Christian Kirk didn't play very much last season. So yeah, man. Uh, they also had another receiver, Zay Jones. They gave him 25 million with the max of 30 million. Former Bills and Raiders receiver Zach Jones. Um, who else did they sign? Uh, this has been crazy for the Jaguars. They cut Miles Jack, which is very surprising. They signed former LA Rams cornerback Darius Williams. They brought in Pro Bowl guard Brandon Sheriff from the Commanders. Evan Ingram, tight end from the Giants, to fill their hole at tight end. They had it for a long time since the prime days of Mercedes Lewis. I'm going to say he was definitely not in prime his last couple of years in Jacksonville, and those were the major free agent signings uh, so far in this week of first week of free agency. The first and today was the first official day of free agency because they finally could officially sign today. But yeah, man, if there any free agent news I did not mention tonight, please comment on that. Comment those, as well as um, answer some of the questions I asked tonight. Can any team in the NFC compete with the AFC um, after free agency? Are the free agent moved by the AFC, um, as well as where will Julio Jones land? Where will Baker Mayfield land? All those questions, man. If you have any questions to ask me, uh, personally, personal questions, sports questions, doesn't matter. Please be on the lookout for Title Town TV first ever community service event with Lamar Pullum and the March of Dimes. We come a dime a dozen. March of Dimes benefits event where we will be hosting an event to bring awareness on paternal health and health of babies and mothers during pregnancy and after pregnancy as well. We'll be painting faces, painting canvases with the kids. So man, bring kids out, bring yourself out. Please come eat and drink. We have refreshments there as well as some activities for the kids and just get to know the Titletown crew, me, Lamar, and some more people we have along in Titletown TV. Um, like I mentioned before, please like, share, subscribe to Titletown TV on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and whatever else you get your podcast needs from. I'm your host, Karan Cadell, aka KC. I'll be back next week each and every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock with you guys. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace.